The accounting talent crisis is here. Now, hiring is hard, and hiring a great accountant is even harder. That's because of the accounting talent crisis, and there's so many headlines on this trend. From the Wall Street Journal, why so many accountants are quitting, to the Young Professionals magazine, the accounting profession is in crisis, to the Financial Times, CPA exam takers in 2022 is the fewest in 17 years. To the CFO Journal, accounting graduates dropped by the highest percentage in years. Now, employees are already expensive. In North America, they're taught to job hop every few years to expand their role and salary. They naturally gravitate to better opportunities. That means you have to train them first and then replace them when they leave. Within accounting, this is even worse. I started university in an accounting program, and I remember older students warning me about the industry that would have the same hours as investment banking, but without the pay. And a lot of accounting students were just waiting to graduate or get their CPA and then switch to another field. The majority of my peers either went to more finance-focused roles or product management and operations in tech. Now, this accounting shortage is well known in North America. Every year, fewer students are majoring in accounting and taking the CPA exam. In Canada, a survey conducted by Robert Half found that 90% of finance and accounting hiring managers have experienced challenges due to a shortage of available accountants. Nearly half said their existing staff members have been overburdened as a result. Another 33% said they had trouble securing enough staff for tax season. In the US, there are 340,000 fewer accountants than 5 years ago, according to a Bloomberg analysis of data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And experts say there aren't enough students studying accounting to solve a worsening crisis. Because of all this, we built the S-tier remote team model to solve the labor crisis facing accounting departments in the West. By setting up the systems and processes to build your team remotely, you can access some of the best talent in the world while also saving tens of thousands of dollars on salaries. Then, you can set up systems to ensure your remote team is successful. Today, I'm going to show you how to use this model to grow your accounting firm more efficiently, save more than 53.6% on staffing costs. It's a longer video, but it's worth it because I'll show you the 3 pillars of building an S-tier remote team. So even if you think it's too difficult and expensive right now, you can actually delegate all the time-intensive and repetitive work you're currently doing, such as data entry, reconciling accounts, expense tracking, payroll processing, client issues, and more, so that you can focus on growing your business and spending less time in the business. And I know it works because we've helped 43 companies build their accounting firms to be remote first and hire bookkeepers, accountants, and other operational roles in the Philippines. They save an average of more than 53.6% on staffing costs, and many have said that their remote employees are the best staff. So you have video testimonials from CEOs High Tide, Revere, and written testimonials from many other CEOs. Now, if you're trying to grow an accounting or fractional CFO business, or you lead an accounting or finance team, you need to learn about this process of building an S-tier remote team. Because let's face it, running a business is hard and growing a business is even harder. You need more sales so you can hire more employees. You need more employees so you can hire for more sales. In addition, hiring is difficult. You have to figure out the role, then source, vet, interview, hire, and onboard your employee and work to keep them motivated and interested. Now, I went through this journey myself while building a recruiting firm and tried to figure out what the best way to scale is. Went from struggling to onboard a single executive assistant to managing an entire team of salespeople, recruiters, operation managers, and accountants. And I did it through the 3 pillars of the S-tier remote team. 1 is to get set up with the right tools for remote work and define your role you're hiring for. 2 is source, vet, and hire a remote employee in the Philippines. And 3 is onboard and retain your remote hire and give them ongoing performance reviews. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the perils of hiring remotely. It's too difficult to do, they're unreliable, they're uneducated, it's hard to find candidates who speak English, it's not worth the cost savings to try and train them. Now, that might have been true years ago when remote work was seen as a low-status job. However, during the pandemic, a lot of foreign workers started to take on more senior roles at North American companies, especially workers in the Philippines. And now top talent is looking to work for remote companies. A recent report by JobStreet found that 84% of Filipino professionals are now more eager for remote international work, which is way above the Southeast Asia and global average of 66%. Now, I tried hiring candidates from across the world and realized the best operational staff are in the Philippines. Candidates from other countries would be great at interviewing, but unpredictable later on. Or they just did exactly what they were told and weren't able to solve new problems or adjust to a new situation. I started hiring my own team in the Philippines and realized they were extremely smart and effective. So I started to focus on helping our clients help in the Philippines. After helping 43 different companies build up teams in the Philippines, I found that we were really effective at finding accounts in the Philippines. And we sourced candidates who already had CPAs and had experience at the big four accounting firms or international companies. The Philippines is a great talent pool to source accountants from. It's 78.8% Catholic and one of the largest English speaking countries worldwide. That contributes to the culture of education, honesty, and loyalty, which are great attributes for accountants in long term remote employment. Night shift work is also very common, and there are many work friendly cafes to work from. And of course, there's a cost. You can find accountants with the local CPA designation at less than $2,000 a month. Compared to local talent, that's more than $36,000 in savings per year. Going remote also means saving on office costs. Instead, you just need to pay for software that will make your remote team just as efficient, and they can accomplish the same tasks. These candidates are good. They're fluent in English, college education, and can work in your time zone. Many of them already have a CPA designation and already have experience working with international firms. And here are some videos of various accounting candidates. You can view them talk about the experience they already have and why they want to work with you. Guess what? The largest accounting firms are already hiring accountants in the Philippines. I have a friend that worked for PwC in Hong Kong. He also burned out as an accountant and is now running his own businesses. However, while he was there, the partners at PwC Hong Kong were in the process of passing off business operations to PwC in the Philippines. They ended up moving so much work to the Philippines that the partners in the Philippines started to call the shots. It just shows that once companies start hiring in the Philippines, they just continue to accelerate because the talent pool is just so good. Now, the PwC Global Acceleration Center in the Philippines is a hub that only provides services to PwC members in other countries. If you know how audit works, most employees don't become partners, so they end up ready to leave by the third year of employment. And that means we can find a lot of accounting talent in the Philippines with experience in bookkeeping, payroll, budgeting, and even US and Canadian tax. Again, these are candidates that are fluent in English, graduated from top colleges, can work in your time zone, and that have a CPA designation, international work experience, or Big Four accounting experience. Here's some example candidates, one with Big Four experience at Ernst & Young, another with experience at US firms, another with US tax experience. Now, once you've made the hire, your job is still not over. Now you need to set up the systems and remote work to onboard and retain them. According to the Illinois CPA Society, the top 3 reasons respondents gave for leaving their jobs within the past few years were salary, burnout, heavy workload, and lack of work-life balance. 36% of employees also named workplace culture as a top reason for leaving. And this is where the Far Out Scout S-Tier remote team can help. This model helps accounting firms and finance teams get set up for remote work, define the role they're hiring for, source, vet, and hire a remote accountant, then onboard and retain them to fit seamlessly with your team. This setup can be launched in weeks and reduce staffing costs by more than 53.6%. Today I'm going to show you how we do it. And the goal is to show you a pathway to increase your margins and be able to scale faster by getting set up and creating a really effective and low cost remote team. So you can go back to focusing on getting clients and growing your business. Now, the first component is to set yourself up for remote work. You need to make sure you have the knowledge base, communication tools, security tools, and privacy tools. Ensure your remote employees perform consistently and effectively. You also need to define the type of employee you want to hire. That means drilling deep on the specific tasks and objectives you need to reach, the values that are important to you, and the work culture you want to foster. It's important to think about this and communicate these expectations before the hire. Otherwise, you may make a hire and then become frustrated when they're happy with their work or environment. Now, the second component is to source and vet the right talent. We've had clients approach hiring by setting up a few job postings and waiting for responses. Unfortunately, they end up having to sift through thousands of candidates. Many of the prospective hires often aren't very qualified or even able to communicate effectively. That's because there's a lot of available talent, but you really need to get the top percentile. Instead of just job postings, you need to do outbound recruiting and target very specific candidates with strong English speaking skills, have graduated top colleges, or have international work experience. This is what raises the quality bar immediately, and then you can screen and interview them to make sure they're actually a fit for your firm. You also need to hire for superior performance rather than just find someone whose resume ticks the right boxes. With that same client, we end up placing a candidate within weeks that was able to get started immediately. Finally, you need to set up the processes to onboard and retain your accountant. That means setting up systems for remote work. Now, we've talked to companies who tried hiring remotely for the first time, and they often struggle with not knowing what their employee is doing, not having clear agreements on priorities. A common pattern is that the employee will start off really excited and get through a lot of onboarding. Then over time, communication breaks down and there aren't as many updates. To combat that, you need to document your processes, the standard operating procedures, so that your new employee has clear instructions and a visual guide to completing specific tasks. You also need to establish a reporting system so that they can give you frequent updates on their work, roadblocks they're facing, and issues they'd like to discuss. Now, by having the right processes, you can ramp up your employee to start contributing within days. You need the employee to check in with you and develop an evaluation plan to keep them on track. We know this works because our clients constantly report lower employee turnover rates compared to local hires. It's pretty common for clients to mention that their remote Philippines hire is the most dedicated and diligent hire they've made. And as a bonus, here is a Far Scout implementation call and walkthrough that I will personally do after the training goes live. And that's where I'll help define the exact role and skills you need in the software setup that'll get you ready for remote hire. Source, vet, and reference check the top accounting hires in our talent pool that is the exact fit for your business. And finally, help you onboard and retain your hire. That's all to connect you with your best employee that will save you $30,000 to $60,000 annually per hire. That's important because you have to qualify for it. So you should be an accounting firm or lead a finance department. You need to be in a position to hire more staff. And we can only do 5 audit implementation calls per week. And so if you're interested, click I want an implementation call, fill out the application, and then schedule and show up. Cheers.